Titans beat the 49ers, but it is the preseason, so final score not really something that we're focusing on. I really liked the 49ers backup quarterback play in this game, and obviously Brandon Allen was technically the starter, but he was sharp. I think the box score for Brandon Allen there in the first half does not adequately show how well he played. It was 7 of 13 for 98 yards, but two deep passes that were on the money were dropped. One by Tay Martin would have been a nice diving catch, and then Ronnie Bell couldn't hang on to one. So easily could have seen Brandon Allen at 9 of 13, 170 yards for the 49ers in this game. So he was sharp, and then they gave Josh Dobbs the second half. He almost led the comeback in that second half, and was, I think, at 98 yards before that last drive, and then he went over 100 yards on the final one. Last gasp attempt there for Josh Dobbs with the Hail Mary obviously didn't work, but I thought that we saw some nice physical arm talent from Dobbs. We've seen that, of course, over the course of training camp with some of those deep out throws, and then, of course, the helicopter touchdown, John Elway style, the Pastronaut took off for the 49ers. And I mean, we saw two quarterbacks on both teams take on would-be tacklers today. And for Will Levis and the Titans, it was a definite tackler. It wasn't just a would-be tackler when D. Winters, 49ers second-year player, laid him out there near the 1-yard line. So some big hits that you don't often see in preseason type action. Well, in this game, the fans got some of their money's worth there early. Speaking of D. Winters, he's one of the 49ers players I want to talk about because he was on my list of guys to watch. Saw a lot of promising good from D. Winters, and then I saw a couple sketchier plays. Obviously, there was a heck of a lot of range that he showed when he tackled Will Levis on that third down. He had to cover about 15 yards to get to him before Levis got to the goal line, and he put on a clean hit. And I think a lot of 49ers fans see the number 53, and they think Navarro Bowman. They love that number on a linebacker. Well, that was a nice, fine play from D. Winters. He also had a tackle for loss in the first half that I thought was really impressive, and just a couple plays where he showed the range of a former safety and receiver. And D. Winters those were his positions entering TCU in college. He came out of high school as a receiver and a safety, and then he moved over into that linebacker role. He's obviously beefed up since then, and he's shown some good movement ability that translates well into the NFL level. A couple bad plays for D. Missed the tackle early on Tony Pollard, former Cowboy, out in the flat. That was a key third down play that set up the Titans' first touchdown. So you'd obviously like to see better tackling. It's not a worry. I'd expect guys to be rusty in that part of the game right now because you don't tackle live during training camp practices. You only tackle live once you get out here. That's why you have to knock off the rust in some of these games. So that was D's day. Then I thought that, you saw him get a little crossed up there on one of Calvin Ridley's big catches. He was running across there, and D. Winters took a bad angle. Again, first game action of the season. Guys are going to have to knock off some rust. I thought there was a lot of good from D. Winters today. I thought that he flashed off the screen for the 49ers on a lot of those plays, and I think he's going to have opportunities to look even better down the stretch. I think I got the pen right here. I think I dropped some of my notes. Fell out of the notepad. Yep, I did. These are the notes from this game, what I wanted to talk about on this show. So Allen, Dobbs, both good stuff for the 49ers. Then, talk about D. Winters, you got to talk about Malik Mustafa as well. I thought Malik was awesome. And the first time I noticed Malik today, backup safety out of Wake Forest, was when he first came into the game. Renardo Green, his fellow 2024 draftee, was misaligned, and Malik was behind him before the snap, and he noticed that there wasn't a receiver covered, and Malik Mustafa just started barking at Renardo Green. He said, got to shift over there, and he got the 49ers defense in position in time for the snap. That shows you, from a young player playing in his first NFL game, to have the field presence and the command of the defense to the point where he's directing guys around. I think that says something about Malik Mustafa and his study habits and his progress so far early in his NFL career. Then obviously he came in like an absolute missile and took out the Titans' fourth down play. They got the call wrong on the field, but Kyle Shanahan had them review it, and I think that's important. I think that, you could say it's a preseason game, who cares? But when you got a young player making a play like Malik Mustafa did, and you go watch the tape, he was far back, near the back line of the end zone. He was the furthest 49ers defender from the line of scrimmage, and he was able to make that play in the backfield. Well, the burst that he showed was impressive, and that's a confidence-building play for a rookie. So I think the 49ers will be happy that Kyle Shanahan challenged that play to make sure that they got the call right. First drive of the game is when the 49ers used their starters, or at least as many of them as possible along the offensive line. 3 of the 5 starters, assuming Dominic Pooney does start for this team up front once the regular season begins. So you had Chris Hubbard at left tackle, the former Titan. He's a backup, obviously. No Trent Williams, no Jalen Moore. Trent Williams, by the way, fined $1.11 million for missing this game. So his fines are $650,000 for 13 missed practices and $1.11 million for missing this game. So those fines are racking up for Trent. We'll talk about that at a later time. No Jalen Moore either. He got the day off. So they put Hubbard at left tackle. They put Aaron Banks, the normal starter, at left guard, but he only played a series today. Actually had probably the worst rep for that first team on the first series, where it just seemed that he might have tripped. It seemed like he got run over, but the 49ers overcame that. Jake Brendel didn't start at center. He's dealing with knee tendonitis, so they gave it to Nick Zakel. And then Dominic Pooney, the rookie, was at right guard, and Colton McKivitz was at right tackle. That first team line, besides the first play where Banks got beat, they held up really well today against, by the way, the Titans played their first team defense and their first team offense, as you heard me talk about Will Levis. The 49ers didn't do that today. The only first teamers the 49ers played were those offensive linemen plus Jair Brown on the defense. So it was essentially Titans first team against 49ers backups to start this football game. But anyway, the 49ers offensive line held in fine against that Titans first team. There was even a 3rd and 9 where Brandon Allen connected with Ronnie Bell, which was a straight drop situation. The offensive line couldn't hide, and on that play, they held up fine. They gave Brandon Allen the pocket they needed. But it was Jordan Mason, who's actually from about 30 minutes north of here in Gallatin. Great story. Hot Nashville summers. It's Jordan Mason's dad who is working with him on the new jugs machine that Jordan Mason bought, right? The $3,000 jugs machine. They're out there in the sun, they're sweating, he's feeding the jugs machine. Well, Jordan Mason had a lot of family members here because he's from nearby. I saw a lot of them wearing the 24 jerseys. He rumbled on that first drive. 6 yards a carry, 5 carries, 30 yards, and he rumbled all the way into the end zone. And on the touchdown, Jordan Mason just plowed forward. The 49ers had Dominic Pooney, their rookie right guard, pull blocking, which is significant. I'll get to that in a bit. But then after he executed his first blocking assignment, he sprinted downfield, caught Mason, and helped push him into the end zone. So Dominic Pooney's on a really good track to start for the 49ers at that right guard position. And, I'll say the pull blocking part of this, that is significant because when you look at the fact that Dominic Pooney was a better pass protector than a run blocker in college, the fact that the 49ers are trusting in the pull and he's showing good results early on in that's an arrow up for his ability to fit into Kyle Shanahan's offense. All right, interesting game. That's the preseason. We're going to have these reactions after every 49ers game from the tunnel here, Nissan Stadium in Nashville. I'm going to head into the locker room and talk to everybody soon.